Learning how to learn is like discovering great treasures on the surface of a city abandoned by its inhabitants. Expectedly, you'd ask how come the inhabitants never saw the treasures when they were right there on the ground. Well, that's definitely because they weren't paying attention to it. Or perhaps they were looking up to the sky for rain, sunshine, or anything at all, and weren't bothered about the ground. Why would they be so obsessed with expectations from the sky when there were treasures on the ground? It's like Hollywood putting out a vacancy for an acting role that'd easily be killed by Jason Statham, Dwayne Johnson, Denzel Washington, Tom Cruise, and any of the thousands of actors they've got. How confusing would that sound? Sadly, that's what many folks do when they choose not to learn how to learn. They simply leave what's in their control and run after what's beyond them, creating problems in the end. This situation has so much similarity with a popular idiom that says, the grass isn't greener on the other side, but it's greener where you water it. That's telling you to work on what you can control and ignore the things beyond your reach. So, while many folks find it prestigious to learn English, mathematics, chemistry, biology, they forget to learn the simplest of things, which is how to learn. They forget that learning those complex subjects becomes greener when you water them by learning how to learn. Hold on right there. You shouldn't get confused. There's definitely a way to learn, and it isn't a rough patch. Think of your first day at school. The road to your school might have seemed like a dangerous journey to a strange forest, but you journeyed and arrived there. And then the next day, the journey was still complicated, but you were more assured of your security. A few weeks later, and you could give directions to your driver. Years down the line, you're so grown that you could lead yourself to school. Exactly. Learning how to learn is that easy, or even way easier. Learning how to learn gives you a master key that opens all doors. Surely not for the sake of robbery, but for the sake of learning. Learning how to learn makes learning anything very seamless for you. And while you do that, don't get discouraged by your academic results if they're not positive. This master key isn't just for some smart and intelligent folks. It's for everyone, and it works for absolutely anyone as long as you use it. So, if you'd ever thought you had some brain deadness that couldn't make you apply formulas to anything, then you should leave that with maths. Though you may have never applied a mathematical formula correctly, the one you'll learn here will be applied correctly and will help your correctness in math as well. Ensure you stick around till the end. There's a learning hack that's been proven to be the most effective all around the world, and I'll be willing to share it with you just before the end of this video. Don't go anywhere. Back to learning how to learn. Yeah. The dualist approach to stylistics clarifies a fact that the form of a thing and its content are entirely different things. Hence, each should be treated separately. The form should be viewed as important as the content. Don't budge if linguistics isn't your thing. The message will be understood regardless. You ever wondered why so much effort was put into the construction of the White House? It's a building so special that to get its design, a contest was done. The design was approved only after leading American architects entered a competition to build the president's house. The eventual winner, James Hoban, an Irish-born architect, was decided by George Washington, after which he designed the White House. The building sits over 18 acres of land, with every minute detail having some historical or architectural significance. All over the world, it's also one of the safest buildings you can ever find yourself in. Well, that's probably after you've sent in a notice 21 days earlier and the background checks on you are successful. Else, you'd never find yourself there. But it's extremely safe, with or without you. Its safety is initially questionable. Questionable because when you consider the countless windows you spot when you come across pictures of the White House, the vulnerability of the windows comes to mind. In fact, the resolute desk is positioned with the president's back turned to a bunch of windows in the Oval Office. However, it's more secure than if you had bricks replace those windows. Sometime in November 2011, an attacker fired 7 rounds from a semi-automatic rifle into the White House. But all 7 shots against a particular spot on the window backing the president couldn't penetrate or shatter it. Yes, it's that safe. So, what's more? The building at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue also has an 11-foot tall smart fence that could alert agents once pressure is applied to it, alongside roving security cameras, high-tech laser systems, and infrared sensors. Why would a building be so big, beautiful, and secure at the same time? I hope you're asking yourself this, because I've got no answers too. But little wonder why this house has hundreds of thousands of visitors annually to behold such grace and elegance. And here's the use of the White House here. The building silently teaches you to learn how to truly learn too. Back to our linguistics class, anyways. The dualists believe that the form is as important as the content. So when you think of why the White House is adorned and secured so extremely, it's because the form is paid as much attention as the content. What I'm actually saying is that how you learn is important as what you learn. How you learn is the form, and what you learn is the content. Mathematics is the content, but how you learn it is the form, and both should be handled differently. Sadly, many focus on the content and ignore the form. Imagine the US president staying in a disgustingly unsecure environment. That would be so dangerous and unhealthy for the president. You wouldn't want that, would you? But that's what an excessive obsession with content does at the expense of form. Truly, the content, the person, is the POTUS, but the form is where he stays. The form adds more class and prestige to his name and gives him some comfort. Now, you've seen the lapse in the educational system, where you're taught to be attentive to the content while ignoring the form. I forgot to tell you, I read minds too. And I can see you asking, how do I learn how to learn then? How do I learn to focus on the form as much as the content? How do I get rid of this problematic obsession with content? It's simple, trust me. And the way out is that you know your style. That's all. Know your style, and by being intentional about your style, you've done justice to the form. Here it is. Learning styles are methods that people use to learn, understand, and recall information. While you'd find different numbers of them in some other strange place, here you'd find 7 learning styles. Just 7? Yes, just 7. You can be sure that your style is one of them, and once you learn your style, that's all. Number 1, visual learning. This involves learning through visuals like graphs, illustrations, diagrams, videos, maps, charts, images, and other. A 2019 study claims 65% of people are visual learners. You're most likely one of these 65%. Well, you just may not be as well. Number 2, auditory learning. Here, these learners absorb information through listening. They remember information best by listening to lectures, podcasts, music, videos, etc. They're often seen using music and songs to remember information and listening to audio versions of notes. Do you remember yourself ever doing this? How enjoyable was it? Remember, this could just be your style. Number 3, reading and writing. These learners prefer reading and writing and thrive with traditional textbooks, handouts, and written assignments. They're similar to visual learners in some way because they like to see information on a page. They're better learners when they learn through books, essays, written instructions, workbooks, quizzes, etc. Now, think about how you've always culled with textbooks and notes. Do you pass out at the sight of them, or you give them a warm embrace? Remember, you're not just watching a video, you're learning how to learn. Number 4, kinesthetic learning. This involves learning by doing. Learners in this category learn better when they're physically moving and getting hands-on experience. They tend to enjoy problem solving and prefer playing games, solving puzzles, and trying new activities and skills. They learn better with practicals, challenges, and other physical activities. Number 5, verbal or linguistic learning. These learners retain information best by hearing and envisioning words. They often speak aloud to memorize information better. They often prefer learning through lectures, podcasts, presentations, word games. Number 6, social or interpersonal learning. These learners thrive in groups and prefer their learning in group discussion or group coaching. You'd often find them with keen interests in public speaking, team building exercises, and working with partners. Number 7, solitary or intrapersonal learning. These learners prefer to learn on their own and work independently. They're self-starters and are usually determined to complete courses. There you have it. If you've ever wanted to learn how to learn, or you've been having struggles with your learning, you could just be applying the wrong style, like a president staying in a ghetto hut. You could try all of these styles and pick which is most suitable for you. They're working formulas that don't fail once done rightly. So, I promise to give you 3 learning hacks before the end of the series. These learning hacks work for all learning styles and have been proven to be highly effective. The first is teaching others what you learn. The next is connecting new information to things you already know. And the last is by practicing questions and writing out the answers, especially in a manner that's explanatory to even a preschooler. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love you to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more quality videos. Thanks for sticking around till the end.